welcome back. Welcome back to the PGL Quake Champions Open, where we are right in the middle of the group stages, and we're getting towards the end of Group A. It's been kind of plugging along away off stage, but we couldn't keep this one away from our eyeballs. We're going to be looking at Clawz and Cooller here very soon, and there's going to be a lot to discuss about this one. I'm sure you guys have some opinions here, some hopes, some fears, some nightmares.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Clawz is just, he's back-to-back world champion, basically. He won 2 QuakeCons in a row.
We need to remind him of that.
Yeah, just inflate his ego just a little bit more. But he is an amazing player. He's amazing technically. He's got that aim that's oh so sick. But on the other hand, he's going up against Cooller, and that's definitely no less of a man.
Talking about ego, yeah.
Yeah, talking about ego, that's indeed.
There's a big clash of styles, though, really. These two could not be any more different in how they play. Exactly as you say, incredibly technical, the way Clawz plays, and very flashy kind of style. He loves just dealing damage and being aggressive. Cooller is way more comfortable. I mean, we saw Agent already playing a very defensive style. It's Cooller who really invented that kind of style. He's incredibly good at just being patient, waiting, setting traps. His aim is still incredibly good, and occasionally he'll bite on his prey. But expect this to be a very interesting clash.
I mean, we saw a lot of that yesterday on Ruins against Rafa.
Oh, yeah.
Cooller is, I mean, there's 2 minutes, 3 minutes left to go. He gets 1 frag. He's on his visor. He's like, okay.
Yeah, he's been remarkably calm during this tournament. And speaking of casual, we had him walk down our little runway a little bit earlier as well. Let's take a look. You have to worry a little bit when Cooller shows up in a t-shirt and sweatpants and not in his usual, you know, tracksuit or something like that.
He's
a little bit dressed down this time,
Oh, yeah,
but yeah, you can see on his face that he's here to throw down.
Yeah, Clawz might have been the one flexing, but Cooller's not going to pull any punches himself. That's clear.
You've got to remember this is kind of a battle between the generations of Quake as well. Cooler's probably got about 12 years approximately on Clawz. He's been playing this since, playing Quake since, I don't know, Clawz was not born. I don't know. Is that possible?
Yeah.
But Clawz is new generation, and we see that with just his remarkable aiming abilities. Definitely something for those watching, look out for his rail and definitely his lightning gun. He is among the best in the world using that weapon.
I mean, you can tell 42% LG average over every single game he's ever played. That's insane. It's got 10 percentage points over Cooller.
You know, survived the number of small changes that the LG's had from patch to patch. It doesn't really seem to be a factor. We keep thinking, hey, maybe in this patch, Clawz won't be hitting insane, ridiculous LG, but he comes out swinging with it again and again.
I mean, actually, those weapon accuracies tell a really interesting stories. Even 9% on with the rail, almost 10% with the rockets. Everything's very deliberate when it comes to Clawz. He's not spamming quite as much as Cooller, whereas Cooller is blocking those choke points up, but zoning out his opponents and kind of protecting himself. So even just those kind of 3 stats there, I think it's painting a small picture for us now.
Well, as much as we love trying to get inside Clawz's head and explain him away, because yeah, he does take some explanation. He actually gave us a small chance to watch him explaining himself. It's a rare opportunity. Let's take a look.
My name is Nikita, nickname Clawz. I'm playing this game already for 10 years, and currently I think I'm best in the world no matter what happens. My hometown is Minsk, and it's pretty clean city with warm people. I put a lot of time in Quake and was doing pretty good there, and I invested really much time. And when we got Quake Champions, it was already too late to switch to other game because of time I put, because of wins I get. So for me, I just put too much time in Quake to switch right now, because I also need some life. The most I like about Quake is that it's pretty fast-paced game, and also your individual skills matter much more than in other games, because in every game mode in Quake you can carry a lot and it's everywhere about only yourself, and also psychological factor matters a lot. My favorite champion is Nyx, because it's fast, it's harder to hit sometimes, and I love her ability because you can use it in many different interesting ways. For this tournament I didn't really play much, but I felt like after previous games in 2v2, for example, that I feel in shape, that I'm hitting everything. So I was just mostly preparing mentally again, and I knew that if I'm gonna reach my shape, just play a few games and hit my shots, everything should be alright. I think I would like to play against Rafa, since I never played him on LAN properly. And maybe Wenger, just because I wanna beat him on LAN. Not really that much people. I only can say thanks to my organization for sending me here, and for my manager that he's supporting me hard with his warm words. Big thanks to him.
Well, Clawz might not get his wish in terms of playing Wenger, but he might get it for Rafa.
Oh yeah, that's
possible.
Definitely still in the books.
Best player in the world,
I like that.
according to his own testimony there. Do you think somebody like Cooller is listening to something like that, or is generally aware of how Clawz behaves and he's thinking, kid?
I mean, there's definitely a sense of bravado around Clawz, and we already know that Rafa and Dahang, they hold the title when it comes to 2v2. Yeah. They're the reigning champions, and we firmly believe that no one's going to beat them. But when it comes to duel, he's already established two pretty phenomenal titles at QuakeCons. He's looking to get a championship of some sort outside of that particular circuit, and this is really, if he's going to live up to those expectations, those words, I think he needs to take down this tournament. And this is one step towards it. I
think you're absolutely right, and this is certainly the tournament to show up at. I mean, you've got literally everybody you would want to make a name against, and Cooller is no slouch whatsoever. It is interesting that Clawz has banned Nyx.
I was just about to say this.
Was it not the other way? Was it not the other way around?
No, it's at Nyx underneath Clawz. Yeah. So
can I take that as gospel? Oh, Cooller.
It was Cooller who banned Nyx.
Watching the stream.
He just wants to see the show, man. He's just curious what's going on. He wants to check. Hey, I look pretty good on camera. Can I check my head?
Well, if you're still watching, I actually have some good advice for Cooller. So if you actually, I've been watching how Clawz plays, and I figured something out. Clawz really keeps his mouse towards the top of his mouse pad. It's like up against the edge. I've determined that Clawz cannot look up.
Can't go upright.
This isn't dogs. What is this?
No, he can't. Look where his mouse is. He can't look up. How can you do that?
I have to say though, earlier I was so anxious watching Wenger play because his monitor is so low and his mousepad is partially underneath his monitor, and there was like a centimeter between his fingers and his monitor, and he was constantly like whipping it around underneath. I thought he was gonna hit it.
It's one of the great things about LAN parties is always watching how different everybody approaches the game physically, but we're about to get into the mental game here with the champion picks.
This is a very aggressive set of picks so far. Yeah. Lots and lots of burst DPS potential. I know that the Molten Falls being Cooller's pick, he's definitely looking to play a sort of a defensive game. That Galena is going to help him do that, but we know that he can really turtle out a match, set up traps over here. I think Ranger I would kind of expect from him at the end, but let's see. He's just going to go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty similar picks. I mean, like you said, a lot of DPS potential, and these were fast picks too, because sometimes you see people just thinking about until the very last second to make that decision, but this time, especially Clawz were just like 1, 2, 3, and done.
I mean, and there's a huge amount of bravado on this match in itself. A lot of bragging rights. Right now, for either of them, it's kind of, even though they both have a chance to get through no matter who wins or loses into day 3, really a loss is devastating just for internally.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really expecting a lot of flame strikes. I'm expecting a lot of LG between the two, and that bravado is going to be a big deal, but I'm expecting you guys, Zoot and Flea, to be screaming a lot as well. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Jahar. We are going to be setting off into this game between AMD.COOLLERZ and MyztroClawz. We are starting off on Clawz's point of view. He's going to have BJ Blaskowitz out first. He has got the LG, but he's taken a lot of flame strike damage, and we are almost getting the air rocket, but just too much damage from hits from Cooller, and it's kind of surprising at the beginning that he just goes straight in for the fight.
Well, on the one hand, it's surprising. On the other hand, given the aggressive champion picks, it was... I mean, first frag within 20 seconds. I mean, MyztroClawz just turns around. Cooller surprises him, attacks him from behind, and Claus doesn't go through a teleporter. No, he just turns around and throws the flames at him. Absolutely insane. He's going for the Mega now.
I was expecting a bit more pressure on Cooller to the heavy, but he didn't go for it at all. I believe he would have heard it getting picked up, but the Flame Strike's ready. He sees him close by, totally misses that damage. Now Claus might look to get his back on him. He's got that rail just peeking around the corner. There's no chance to reply. And Cooller is a walking dead man.
Yeah, 7 points of health left for the Russian player. This is a really good opportunity for Claus if he can make something happen. Cooller hasn't moved in like the past 20 seconds. He's waiting for these health bubbles, and he's even going to get the Mega. Claus didn't pressure that hard enough. And now Cooller is slowly getting back into this. He's got some armor too, but we might see another confrontation. Nice. Claus repelled backwards by that railgun, and Cooller again looking pretty good coming from such a low stack. And now we've got Death Knight versus Death Knight, a lot of burst damage on both of these players. They can walk through each other's flames, so we're not going to see any area denial just yet. But it's still going to be a very interesting setup if both of these players get close to one another.
I'm really curious if this kind of defense... I know that Cooller's recovering from a low stack beforehand, but I wonder if Cooller's going to just try and almost look at playing the clock already. Try and get... Because he knows it just gets on Clawz's nerves, just slowing the game down too much. Because Clawz constantly wants to fight. He wants to get in your face. He wants to show off his strengths in combat. And Cooller's just chilling.
I mean, you cannot underestimate the importance of that psychological aspect in a game like Quake. Because when someone gets under your skin, you don't have to be a pro to know this, but if someone gets under your skin, it can really affect your play, it can affect your aim, it can affect the decisions that you make. So, Cooller, definitely smart of him, and yeah, it does look like he might just go for the clock with almost 3 minutes left when he made that decision. And he's got a pretty good champion to do it with too. He's got that fire that he can use defensively. There comes Claus, so we might get a confrontation.
Hide. Oh, he was just spotted, and that damage is definitely going to give him away.
Yep.
Clawz missing that rail, looked like it almost went between his legs. But Cooller realizes he's not being pushed any harder, and he's going to settle back a little bit.
Claus not picking up Mega. Both players going for heavy. Cooller drops on it, gets himself the heavy. There comes Claus. That fire. Wow. Suiciding even. Cooller threw out his flames first, got no damage with it whatsoever, basically. And oh my god, the turnaround. Cooller just using that orb so quickly. That's, of course, the best way to hit it when someone else is in midair.
Yeah, and Clawz pushing a little bit too hard. Should really know that the spawn capability was over on that side. And Clawz landing a good rail. The second rail is phenomenal. Surely he won't want to go for one more. Cooller has collected enough health to not be railable, and it's not a million years until this Mega spawns. Yeah,
this is a really good situation for Claus. There's a good spread between the two mage items. He got heavy first. Cooller is so low. Mega not up yet. Fraction of a second, but I don't think it would have made much of a difference. Claus actually doing a little bit of self-damage right there with those rockets just to deny the item.
There was a big mistake though from Cooller because he really shouldn't have hung around. He's hung around over 10 seconds waiting for that Mega health to appear. And Clawz, I mean, he's not exactly known for his timing, but he's just not making mistakes of that at the moment.
Yeah.
And Cooller is usually on the point with it. He would never make an error like that.
Yeah, and it's just such a bad position to stay at too. I mean, you have the only way of escape you have if someone comes from below is through the bounce pad, and that's so dangerous either way. Here we go, Claus taking some rail damage from Cooller. Cooler's playing a good game though. He's being very evasive, landing some of those long distance shots whenever he can. Not picking a fight just yet, and now we're on Galena versus Galena. That also promotes pretty passive play for both of these players, but we might not see any passiveness come out. Nope, here comes Claus. Aggressive push using that totem. Good rocket. That was a quick thinking by him. Almost landing right into Coollerz.
Oh, he's going to get himself the Mega. This stack is enormous, and Clawz is definitely hungry for a kill. But he's got to catch sight of Cooller. And he just walks by him. That rail is going to give away his position. Clawz actually still outstacks him, but realizes that Heavy's going to be up soon. And then there's going to be about a 10-15 second window between the next major item where he can maybe start to pile on the pressure.
Also, very important to notice that Cooller actually doesn't have a lightning gun yet. He's still lacking that very crucial weapon. I don't think Clawz knows, but here we go. He's going for the push. Can he read Coollerz? Yeah, he can, but Cooller getting that Mega, and he has a totem at the ready as well. Clawz definitely doing the damage, but not able to close it out just yet. Coming around the long way. Is he gonna spot Cooller? He will. No damage just yet though, and Cooler is starting to hide those totems around the map. That's gonna be useful down the line. But Clawz's control at this point is really solid, getting mega heavy every single time. And Cooler is still hanging in there, of course. Like I said, Galena, very defensively capable champion. Rockets, both players flying, and Clawz, damn, that shot didn't even need the wall for the splash damage. Just straight up midair, taking out Cooler.
Awesome, awesome shot from Clawz. I think it looked like he might have got caught out for half a second. He didn't land the early damage, wasn't nullifying the totems too much, but this beautiful shot from Clawz.
That's frag movie material right there. And we are starting off the next round onto Clawz as well, starting at the mega health. Oh, we might immediately see an opening, but Clawz realizes that that is probably not the best fight to take. He doesn't have the LG yet, can't dual wield that weapon, and Cooler, of course, does have those flames ready. Gotta be careful of those.
I'd love to see Cooler just trying to deny the lightning gun for a minute. He doesn't need to go over to the mega health just yet. This heavy does so much for him. Those two rails, Clawz again has to be careful. Still has to respect it. And that rail might have even gotten the kill had he landed it. Yeah. But it's a good heavy pickup from Cooler. And let's see if he wants to pressure over at the mega health.
Yeah, 58% railgun out of Clawz so far. That's amazing. And here we go. This might be the end for Cooler. Yep, Cooler is gonna go down. Clawz looking solid. Oh, Clawz, you didn't pick up the LG, man. Be careful. Is he so aggressive, so desperate for that next frag that he isn't even going to loop back around? He will. He did notice it.
Yeah, he just wants to keep that position forward, but to know that if there is a push around the corner, he's got the rockets, he can cut off those choke points, so despite not picking it up, he knows he's safe to collect it afterwards. Here comes the Mega, though.
This is, Clawz actually had to give up heavy. He's gonna go in for Mega. That's a risky play. Cooler kind of let him get away there. Even pulling out the double rockets, that's not something you see very often, but it can be so effective. At the rate you shoot those rockets, you can just completely annihilate any area or choke point.
A lot of people expect to use just dual wield when you are doing the damage. Sometimes you've just got to use it in order to scare away your opponent, because they hear you using the dual wield, even though they don't see you. They're like, right, I can't jump into a fight with that person, so he can secure an item from it. Problem for Clawz is he's gone into another fight that he's lost, and he's back out of control.
Yep. Cooler getting himself on the mega health, and Clawz just has no ammo whatsoever. Here comes Cooler. This might be so bad for Clawz, but that double LG coming out, so much damage, completely tying things up. But Cooler,
that was super smart from Cooler, because there's a teleporter at the top, and if you go back through it, takes you to the heavy machine gun spawn, and Clawz just was not expecting that whatsoever. So that is a brilliant frag from Cooler. Clawz right back at him. Easy as hell to read for casting that flame strike on the heavy spawn.
Yeah, and now Clawz is pushing aggressively because he knows where Cooler is and he wants to just choke him out of this mega, which he does do successfully. Heavy will be up in the next 15 seconds. Pretty nice spread between the two major items. This is really good for Clawz. He might be able to set up some control. Cooler no longer railable after using that totem. He was for a brief second. Clawz unable to capitalize off it just yet though. Heavy waiting for him at the time. And at this point, well, Clawz, 2 minutes left to go. He's one champion in the lead, but I don't think this is the player who's going to slow anything down. Clawz is just 0 to 100 any moment of the day.
Whoa, what the hell was that rail? Cooler is so weak at the moment. That light armor probably not going to spawn for another 5 seconds. He's going to get caught out on the edge. That flame strike, fire on the floor, back up the bounce pad. That is Cooler dead, and now Clawz up 2-0. On Cooler's map pick.
And that's an impressive rail to hit too, because very often when someone goes out of bounce pad, it is an easy rail, but people wait for you to hit the highest point of your jump, where it's easy to hit that shot. But Clawz just like, nope, just shut him down the moment he went into that.
I love that replay of Cooler, actually. That was a really smart ballsy play, but unfortunately, none of what he's doing at the moment is enough to secure a round. We are with Clawz here on round 3.
Yep.
So you can just make this a formality and get us over to the second map soon. Well, they're going to encounter each other now, but that first rocket just narrowly missing. I think it hit the step as well.
Yeah, just 15 damage coming out of that one. Definitely not what Clawz wanted. Heavy will be up first, but there is a very short delay between the two major items. So one player goes for one, the other will probably get a hold of the other. And it's BJ versus Death Knight, two very burst-capable champions. Clawz heard that bounce, but he's going to try and set up a little bit of a trap right here. Expecting Cooler to maybe come around for a peek, and there he is. Of course, the players don't have the X-ray vision that we do, so they don't know, but Clawz came so close to successfully trapping Cooler. Making his way across the nail gun right now. Doesn't need the LG anymore. Oh, we might get another big confrontation here. Cooler. Both players have got their abilities ready. Is anyone going to use it just yet? There it goes. Cooler using the Flame Strike. Claws onto the chase, but that rocket! And now Cooler doing such an enormous amount of damage. That's going to deter Claws from pushing in any further. Cooler even going to leave up Mega Health, going for Heavy first. Claws rocket jumping aggressively. He wants to get a hold of that Mega. Is he dropping for it? He will. This might be a crucial fight. No, one of them is dying right now.
Oh, because the Cooler still has so much attack. We could see that algae coming out from Claws, but Cooler just managing his health and armor brilliantly. Knows that's a fight that he can move into. That Cooler, he gets an advantage, but is he able to hold on to it? Can he expand on that whatsoever? When we see him get an advantage, he's often gone very passive very quickly. Note, Rafa, he took that light armor without walking off the edge.
He finally gets himself the rail though, because Cooler almost went 1 minute and 45 seconds without a railgun right there. Finally does manage to pick it up, and now Claws is also on the Death Knight, so it's DK versus DK. Next point of contest will be that heavy armor. Cooler already setting up, trying to set a trap. That's a sneaky position, but Cooler's got to be careful. He does not have his flames at the ready just yet, whereas Claws does, and Claws has got the better positioning as well. Cooler is just gonna seat that item. He's gonna move for Mega instead. Oh, Claws, flames coming through. Cooler through the fire and flames, living for the time being, but Claws will be able to restack better. This could be tricky for the Russian.
Yeah, he's going to be able to just chill a little for the moment. If Claws is going to give him a break, he's hiding. He's like, he didn't notice at all. He tries to go for the flame strike, but he misses it completely. This is going to be planned backfired. Oh no, the mutual frag in just the nick of time. So we're going to see, well, Claws Galena off the respawn, of course, and also the Galena of Cooler. And let's get onto Cooler's point of view over there.
Yeah.
See if he can hold on to this a little more. Pressure with the nail gun. That's not a bad amount of damage. The totem is just blocking that path for a second, but Mega's been picked up. Claws will be able to breathe, but not much.
Yeah, not a bad amount of damage is definitely a massive understatement. That was like 150 damage out of Cooler right there. Claws weaker at this point, and he has to make up the frags because he's one champion behind. Heavy is up, so for Claws, messing up the rocket jump. Or the rocket down, rather. Yeah, this is good for Claws, though. He's doing most of the damage. And
no, Cooler, that didn't work at all. Again, going versus the Glen, you just got to watch out on those teleporter exits. Sometimes you just hope that they're not going to cover it in such a way, but it happened. However, this is good pressure. An orb would have been brilliant, I think, preemptively across there, but he doesn't go for it. And with the rail from behind, yeah, Cooler is struggling. But there's the orb. There it is. He gets the shove, and that is going to be around on the board for Cooler.
2-1 at least, not a 3-0 sweep for Claws. Cooler definitely has got some life left in him. Here we go.
It's like, it looked like it was going to be so brilliant. He was going to get a clean frag, but fortunately he gets the mutual. Otherwise that was catastrophic for him.
I don't know if Claws ran out of ammo there or something, because he had Cooler down till 2 points of health, and then he didn't manage to finish it off. Had to take a switch, and then he just went for the trade at the very end.
Cool, holding on to position above Heavy for now. He's got rail behind him, plenty that he can get hold of, but you know, standing in front, not being afraid at all. There's a small push. Claws, he's searching for information.
Yeah, little bit of a weapon difference here. Claws does have rockets, whereas Cooler does not, and Cooler has the rail, which Claws finally gets himself. And now both players have all the weapons they need to brawl this one out. Pretty equal stacks too. Claws really sticking with that BJ as his first champion pick, and Cooler is just going all Death Knight all the way for the time being.
Solid rail from Cooler. Each of these shots really helped us put a stop to Claws. And Cooler definitely needs to have a big stack advantage going into a head-to-head fight with him. Flame Strike covering off the right side, but Claws is hitting everything else. And stack advantage or not, it does not make a single bit of difference. Whereas this frag could be very meaningful in the outcome of this game, considering only 2 frags are needed for him now.
Yeah, also very clever positioning from Claws right there. The fire strike was used, but he just maneuvered so perfectly around that pillar that it didn't even connect with him. Really, there comes Cooler, trying to fake out the first one, I think, by going up against the ceiling. So you make the noise and you go up, but your opponent doesn't see you come up all the way. Does still end up taking that railgun shot, though. And now Cooler's in a really bad spot. He's so low. A little bit of LG will do it. Clawz!
He hit something. Oh, missed a couple, but again, health and armor right behind him. He had done so much entry damage into that, so he just basically needed to slap him, and he was going to go down. LG, pressure from Cooler, but the rockets are brilliant, and there is another. Clawz secures map 1. And that is a big advantage for him, looking for a comfortable route into day 3.
Oh, yeah. I loved the dual LG right there. Cooler was on like 10 points of health. And what does Clawz do? Here we go, dual LG. Just making sure. He missed out on it in the next fight, though, but still his rockets were just so good, it didn't even matter.
Nice little frag secure no matter what. And
Yeah.
I love how he finished it up. I think Cooler kind of had to be aggressive at that point, but it's unfortunate for him that he had to walk into just a truckload of rockets. Clawz over 1,000 more damage with the rail. Accuracies are very similar. That's something that Cooler's been excellent at. All of PGL is hitting high accuracies on the rail, even if he maybe doesn't fire loads and loads of shots. But damage, not too bad from him. Just surprisingly, as Cooler that struggled with the control, and it felt like his timing was off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you just take a look at it, Clawz won not only on the 2 major items, the heavy and the mega, but he even got the most small armors, and that's something that you very rarely see, because usually the person who doesn't get the main items is forced to just pick up the smaller ones. But here, Clawz just had insane control basically all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Clawz has been known in the past of being, there's this kind of all aim no brain kind of meme that goes around a lot, and you can apply it to certain players, but there's a lot more depth to his play. There's a lot of intricacies in how he fights, and his control game is actually incredibly solid.
Oh yeah.
So really excelling on all fronts. Cooler, I think, needs to step up onto something in order to try and claw back a map even in this series.
Yeah. I think it's just Clawz just does it with such a nonchalant attitude that that's maybe why people start thinking that he's all aim, no brain, because he takes those fights, and they might not seem as deliberate as they are, but they really have some thought put into them.
Completely. Well, moving into Corrupted, keep a fast map. I mean, Molten Falls felt kind of quick, even though it's a much slower pace. But let's see, we've got a Galena from Clawz with the BJ and Death Knight. BJ, Death Knight for Cooler. Does he want to go with the Ranger again, make it a very aggressive lineup? No, he's going to opt to mirror match that one.
Yeah, mirror
as
picks.
we move into Clawz's map in a second.
Now, Corrupted Keep, interesting map. For one reason in particular, it has no railgun on it. And that is something that some players absolutely love and others really hate. And I could see Clawz fall on the second side because he loves his rail.
Yeah, well, he also loves his LG.
That's true.
So he's incredibly good with it, but I'd say Cooler's best weapon is probably the rockets. Yeah. At least that's what he would normally be known for. So if he can try and slow the pace down a little bit or get Clawz to walk into some rockets, he's got a chance. But if he can't control that Clawz aggression, we could see something similar happen here to what Molten Falls was. Yeah. And here we go, guys. We're moving into the second map. Is Clawz going to be able to get through to day 3, or is Cooler still got some fight left in him?
This is a really good start from Clawz. Cooler is just stuck there. He's got that totem. What? Cooler. My god, what a play. I mean, we keep talking about Clawz's aim, but there we go. Cooler just out of nowhere. Kind of stuck in his positioning. 1 LG only. He did have that totem to his back, but damn, he out-fired Clawz right there using a dual LG as the BJ.
Yeah, well, with
that's amazing.
With that extra armor that he had, he got a big boost from it, whereas there's only plus 75 net that Clawz got. The totem blocked a ton of it. Cooler calculated it well, and on top of that, executed. Rocket again, now switch over to the LG, and once more, he's taking control. No items are up for a long time. I think Clawz is going to want to fight back incredibly quick, and there we go. Refrag immediately halfway through the item rotation.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you sometimes really just need to be fast, because if you don't take the fight right away, your opponent has so much opportunity to restack. And now Clawz reading Cooler perfectly. And not so much anymore, but here we go. Cooler will get himself onto that mega health. Oh my god, the mid-air flames. Now that's something you don't see every day.
Well, yes, because it was terrible. He shouldn't have done that at all. I don't exactly know what he was expecting there. Maybe that was just a small mispress. But Clawz, just as quickly as he lost 2 frag, he's gained 2, and we've got things tied up. Cooler, however, he's got dual wield. The flame strike is not active for Clawz for the time being. Let's see, going through the teleporter? No, he's not going to walk into a truckload of nail gun.
Oh no, Cooler dropping down, might have gotten himself stuck again. And yeah, 4 frags in 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's fast.
Not what I expect from these two players, but Corrupted Keep definitely lends itself to that possibility a bit more. And again, Cooller's got to control that aggression of Claws.
Yeah, absolutely. Small map, no railgun, less thought about chewing chip damage from a safe distance. It's really just about getting up close and personal and making those shots count. And here we go, Cooller doing a good amount of damage with his rockets, pushing away Claws back to the drawing board. He's gonna get himself some of those health bubbles, but Mega has been consistently going towards Cooller, and Claws hasn't been able to do much to exploit that at all.
I'd love to see Cooller actually getting hold of that heavy machine gun. He can do a lot more damage from a distance with this weapon, but he's just kind of bypassing it each time. It's so effective on this map. And, you know, as you've already mentioned, with no rail, getting any kind of extra long distance damage, it's so accurate with a heavy machine gun, there's no reason not to pick it up.
I'm very surprised that Claws hasn't done it yet, because with his aim, I mean, a weapon like the heavy machine gun, especially with the latest patch that reduced the spread, that's so dangerous, especially on a map without a railgun. I mean, what more could you want? Claws now moving into Cooller. He doesn't... Oh, he heard that pickup. This could be a good opportunity for Claws. Waiting tactically. Cooller going up the stairs. Claws might catch him off here, but he needs to be careful for the dual LG. There it comes. Claws backing away safely. Good amount of damage.
Possibly safely. He's under so much pressure, though, and that is just going to get his stack stripped away from him. So we are going to have Cooller starting off the map really nicely. Yep. It looked like he wasn't going to close it out because he dropped 2 frags just as quick as he got them, but he gets there.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw a little bit of a shakiness in Claw's LG at the end there, though. He missed like half a second of LG at the very end. Uncharacteristically so, I would say. Mega going to Cooller, Heavy will be going to Claws, and there is a bit of a delay between those items, so that might mean that whoever gets control in these first few fights can get a hold of both of the major items. So far it's looking like Claws is doing quite well. Again, we're seeing the same champion picks over and over again to start of the round. Cooller loving that DK, Claws always going with the BJ.
A nice little rocket again from Claws. He's been protecting himself from those flame strikes brilliantly. Cooller, however, he's got a little bit more of this. Again, the flame strike doesn't do any of the direct damage, but that damage over time is starting to take an effect on Claws. His stack is pretty low. That heavy is going to give him room to breathe.
Yeah. Of course, also important to note is that once you walk into the flames, you get the damage counter over your opponent's head. It shows up through the wall, so you can kind of track where he's going exactly. Cooller made really good use of that. And this might be his frag, though. He's got a... Stacks are pretty similar. Now he's got the advantage. Pushing in. Flames not connecting so far. Claws dropping back down. Still taking the find for the Mega. Cooller is actually... he's got the time to move into Heavy as well. Claws looking the wrong way. Surely he will go down. There we go. Cooller. Good control.
He put a read on Cooller that he was definitely going to come through the lower main arch, and it just didn't happen. He flies through where the hourglass is spawned. Claws, he attacks, he doesn't hit the flame strike, and Cooller, he's going to capitalize from this and get himself another kill. Can he get himself a clean round on this one?
I mean, that's always such a risk. If you miss the flame strike like that, I think Cooller was just a little too far back. Claws is just pushing in with the shotgun, and it's not going to work out for him.
That's the worst move that I've seen Claws make so far in this series, pushing in there. Starting shotgun, sure, it can be extremely effective. You can use that totem to block a bit of damage, but it was a miscalculation. Cooller was stacked. He had great weapons, and that's an easy closer for him.
Yeah, that unbridled aggression coming out of Claws. It's difficult to deal with on the one hand, but on the other, it also makes it very predictable what your opponent is going to do. Cooller definitely exploiting that a little bit. And here comes Claws again. Absolutely no respect given. Just dropping down. Doing a good amount of damage. With Cooller retaliating in style. There come the flames. Missing completely. This is a good opportunity for Cooller. He will find Claws, but that final rocket. Still a good amount of damage out of Claws.
Yeah, good amount of damage, but it's just before the items come back up. With 2 seconds still at Heavy, is there going to be extra aggression? I think there was, but Cooller read right through it. He goes over to collect the Mega Health instead. Great shots though from Claws, looking for the shotgun to close it out, but these rockets from Cooller almost help him lock down one more kill. And now that the items were just taken, Cooller might now want to re-aggress straight away.
Yeah, there's 15 seconds before any of the major items are up. Claws is looking pretty healthy though. LG versus LG, and there we go. Claws at the better aim, better positioning. Cooller will go down, and now actually Claws again at the advantage. Might take his first round on Corrupted Key, but Cooller just picked up Heavy right underneath his nose. And this could be a frag. Claws not choosing to go for the aggression. Is instead just going to go for Mega. I was almost expecting him to just rocket jump up towards Rockets and take the fight right there. Glad he didn't.
Claws has got no armor. Is there a light here? Does it spawn in a second? Perhaps not, seemingly. This rocket just scathing past him. LG's not quite connecting. He's just out of range. There we are. Can start getting the 7s going. He's going to go for the dual wield. Cooler's hanging around for a long time, but now knows that the dual wield is gone. Cooler can get the heavy. Let's see if he pushes through to the mega health.
He looks like he's going to go around to the nail, and Clawz is going to drop on it first. Heavy versus Mega. Clawz' rockets. Oh, superb right there. I think Cooler just let go at the end. After that second rocket hit, he was just like...
It was weird, though, because he didn't push in fast enough to get a good position at all. He kind of delayed it a little bit, and I mean, there was no way he was going to win the fight anymore, especially after the first rocket of Clawz. Let's see round 4. Clawz starting to make his way back into this. Remove danger of being 3-0'd, but let's see if he can secure another one.
Interesting champion pick by Clawz. First time we're actually seeing him start off on DK. So far it's always been the BJ. So, see if that could make a difference for him. God, Clawz is just hitting so much LG from that position. Cooler, that's not where you want to take the fight. That rocket almost connected somehow. That would have been beautiful. And now Clawz is to make a decision. Mega or Heavy? Mega, he's going to go for first. Is he going to have to surrender? Heavy, I think he was hoping for Cooler to spawn somewhere near Rockets to fight the fight immediately.
Wow, he is going so aggressive at the moment, trying to push on this. The nail gun pushing him back, but down to 5 points of health. Cooler's got to be aggressive off the spawn. Again, this time, surely he can't make a mistake with that one. It was miscalculated last time, but now, light armor's been taken. Lots of 25 health bubbles. Clawz finding him yet again, and that mega health soon spawning. Cooler gets hit a little bit, pushing through though with the lightning gun. Clawz can recover with this heavy armor.
And there's quite a few health bubbles around this area as well, so that is going to help out Clawz massively. 100-100. He's actually got the stack advantage over Cooler, especially with that rocket. He's going to push in. Is he going to finish it? Cooler somehow avoiding the damage. Clawz using the rockets. Doesn't quite pay out for him. And here we go, the nail.
Wow, right off the spawn, he uses the nail gun, he hits everything he needs to. Cooler, he kind of pushed down the stairs a little bit, so if he wanted to move back up, which he apparently did, he was a bit more predictable with his movement. So,
and look at the replay. Look at the replay. Yeah, Clawz lost 150 points of stack right there to the heavy nail gun. We're going to get an immediate brawl. LG versus Rockets. Clawz is going to fade away for the time being.
He's looking to make that full comeback as well.
Oh yeah, he wants to shut it out now.
2-0 down, reverse sweep. Yes, please.
And this time we're having Cooler start off on the Galena. Maybe he just wants to slow it down from the start. He already put a totem as a trap up to that teleporter over at Mega. Both items are up at the same time. Looks like it's just going to be the same as before. Heavy for Clawz, Mega for Cooler. Cooler's got another totem ready. He's going to start building up that legion of totems. Clawz trying to push into the room.
Interestingly enough, we're getting higher accuracies on the LG from Cooler. He's on just about 40 and 35 from Clawz. And Cooler's done about 700 more damage with the weapon, so unusual to see the stats like this.
Yeah, Cooler is just consistently taking really good places and positions to take these fights from. Sometimes, I mean, the only one that I can think of where he doesn't is where he's up near Mega and then Clawz is down below. But other than that, Cooler's positioning has been superb again. Clawz, or Cooler rather, will finally get himself the rocket, and he has that heavy machine gun. That's also a big point of difference, because we really haven't seen Clawz use it much at all, whereas Cooler has been using the heavy machine gun to great effect repeatedly. Looks like Heavy will be up first, and there is a pretty nice delay between the two major items. That rocket's gonna hurt so much, but the flames coming out not enough. And that will be Cooler getting the first frag of what might be the deciding round here. Mega, is he just gonna drop on it? Oh, Clawz steps off just a second too soon.
Oh, that totem done so much for Cooler. LG, here's a switch to the heavy machine gun. It's a beautiful switch from Cooler. One more kill, and we can see us go to a third map. Something I don't think I would have expected before this series started. It's been phenomenal play from Cooler on Corrupted Keep.
Absolutely, and just want to again point out Cooler's positioning right there. He just stepped back just far enough to be out of range from Clawz's LG when he used that heavy machine gun to just punish him relentlessly for being in that spot. Heavy going to Cooler. Mega will probably be going to Clawz, but there comes Cooler. Oh, so fast. Good rockets out of him too.
He can close this one out now. He knows that dual wheel's being used, so if he can pick a good fight, he can just end this map almost immediately. Here's that Clawz is moving over towards the heavy area. He's not committing to a fight. If he drops down, that's going to be 100% LG hitting him.
Yeah, he's got to be careful right now, though, because Clawz is definitely has the lower stack. Clawz is the one chasing. He's trailing. He's got 2.5 minutes left to make up those frags. But Clawz, I mean, it is Clawz. You've got to be careful. He's on the BJ. He's got that LG. Any wrong decision, exposing yourself to his angles, I mean, you can lose out 200 points of stack in half a second.
If Cooler does get fragged, he's just got to make sure he does incredibly good damage. Fortunately for him, he's got 2 champions that are very good off the spawn, going versus a weak opponent. So it's absolutely imperative that if he gets killed, take him down to below 100 health and strip all of his armor away.
Yeah, Cooler already playing a really passive game. I think he's already looking to run down the clock. I mean, he has 100 points of health, 150 points of armor. He saw Clawz coming down the stairs and he was just like, nope, I'm out of here. Just retreating back to Nailgun. He's even going to get heavy again. This is not good for Clawz. He still has 2 frags to make up and 1.5 minutes to do it in. Oh, is he going to be found out? No! Clawz not turning the corner.
And Clawz found himself a little bit more rocket ammunition up on the top. And he's holding this heavy as if it's about to spawn. But now he moves away, doubting his timing. Cooler looking for mid-air, but he gets caught out by the dual wield. However, his rocket also repositions Clawz, and he escapes over towards that heavy armor. That one shot really saved him from being able to prevent Clawz having the angle for attack.
Yeah, pressure really is on right now for Clawz. Finally using that machine gun, but Cooler is just doing better. Clawz has got slight stack advantage for the time being. That BJ does heal himself back up to those small thresholds. But Cooler, 50 seconds left to go. As we are moving into a fight that might take place around the center area. Heavy again going to Cooler. Clawz is just unable to stop his opponent from picking up these major items.
Nice dodge there from Cooler. He's only got to kill another 15 seconds to pretty much be safe and to secure this map. But now there's an attack. Rockets again. There's a totem to protect it, but he hits that turnaround.
Nicely done by Cooler.
Small mid-air. 3-2 for Cooler. We're going to get a tiebreaker map.
Yep. Again, looking at the stats right there.
Let's have a quick look. We've got 5.3, almost 5.4k damage from Cooler, 4.6 there from Clawz. And then the LG, stronger for Cooler. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, actually, Cooler doing really well on this map. I think that many people would have definitely favored Clawz on here.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a bit unusual. I believe they took each other's map picks.
Yeah.
And now we get to see on the tiebreaker exactly how this is going to go down. Do you feel that Cooler's got this now, or are you? I don't know if you're backing Clawz or Cooler.
I don't know. At first, I would have definitely said Clawz. But at this point, looking at that final map, Cooler is just looking oh so solid. So I really don't know who's going to take this one at this point. I could go either way. Final map will be Ruins. Of course, the railgun is back on the menu.
Just to, again, make an important point. I think Clawz will win, but I want Cooler to because I think he's very good at popping off. We've seen a bit of that, the quadruple fist pump that we had on day 1. I want to get like a quintuple going and see if Cooler's really got it. Because if he beats Clawz, he is going to be really happy.
Yeah, I mean,
and securing that day 3. It's not just the bragging rights for Clawz, it's getting into that day 3 straight away.
Yeah, that's in the money. You know, you make it that far and you're guaranteed to have a payout.
Yeah, and we are going to get into the champion picks here. We've got Galena DK. This is so fast from all the players, and there's not been too much changing of the lineups between them. Clawz of the BJ, Galena DK, and we're going to get Ranger instead of BJ from Cooler.
Yeah.
Now on, again, a pace of the map in Ruins is maybe a little more like Molten. However, it's been very uncharacteristic of Cooler. Everything's been kind of aggressive. The fights have been happening very quickly. Maybe a bit more down to Clawz wanting that to happen and Cooler forced to do something about it. But I wonder if Cooler might try and slow down even more now.
I mean, he definitely could. Visor has been banned, so he can't play that one, but he is on the Ranger. And Ranger, of course, gives you so much mobility to run away. You can get from top to bottom of the map, one side to the other instantly. So, yeah, he could really play down the clock again. Might see it happen.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we are going to be moving into map 3 between Clawz and Cooler. This is going to determine who makes it into day 3 or who goes into that lower bracket to play versus base. We are on Clawz's point of view right now. Like now it's Cooler who's being incredibly aggressive. He goes in with that flame strike. Has already popped that one off. Clawz fading away a little more, looking a bit more reserved now.
Yeah, Claws doesn't have rockets quite yet. He's got Cooler kind of locked in a corner right there, though. Claws looking for that heavy next. There's a very slight delay between the two major items, so it seems very unlikely that either player is able to pick up both. And it will be Claws taking heavy, Cooler taking mega. Again, this is not looking all that good for Cooler because he is on such a low armor stack right now. Claws might be able to put down a lot of damage downrange.
And he's just holding the top part of the map. You can see so much from this position. There's a light armor there that Cooler desperately wants. He might be able to just walk across there and pick it up now. There we go. We can see under his character portraits that that green bar is extended. And his armor has increased as well.
Relatively slow start, though. I mean, there has been just a slightly... there's been 100 damage done in a minute, as opposed compared to
that happened in the first 3 seconds, though. Since then, we've had very, very little. Claws getting on heavies, Cooler getting on megas.
Yeah, if you compare that to Keep, it was like 4 frags in a minute 30 seconds and then 1 round. Oh, there we go. Cooler, sneaky rail from the back. Claws taking a little bit more damage right now.
I think Cooler's going to try and secure the heavy armor. He's already got some overstacked health, so he really profits a lot by taking this heavy. We're getting a bit of a delay on it. See how long he... Oh, I think Claws just made out the sound of the item getting taken, so he's got the clue that Cooler's delayed the item. It's not quite enough. Well, actually, going from mega to heavy, it could be enough to secure both items if you're able to position yourself well at mega.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's mega to heavy is a lot faster than heavy to mega. So that 5 seconds, I think you could definitely do it. Depends on who's going to win this fight, though. That's a great opening rocket. And another one, and a third one. Claws pushing back Cooler. He's just going to drop relentlessly. Is the dual LG going to come out? Nope, 1 rail. Not going to hit the second one. Cooler did pick up that heavy, though.
He still managed to hold on to a little bit of that armor. What a shot over there from Cooler, forcing Claws away towards the lights.
Yep.
And Cooler up at T. He's going to catch him out, so he's going to fire 1 more. Now Claws is railable just for a second. He goes with the lightning gun. 7 points of health left. We can hear BJ screaming, but now he has collapsed. Cooler getting first blood on Ruins.
Yeah, Claws for a second there thinking that if he was just fast enough and immediately double back, that Cooler would try to go to mega, but oh my god, Cooler! The damage is really coming out right now. The flames, the rockets, the everything, and he spawns Claws off spawn rather. That's a decent amount of damage. Claws is going to be able to get away for the time being, but Cooler has such solid control right now. He's got a pretty good idea of where Claws is and reads the teleporter exit perfectly.
That was super nice from Cooler. That's got to feel good for him. An advantage now on map 3. I wonder if there's an element of doubt creeping into Claw's minds. And we can see hit. Securing that frag with the flame strike. Claws kind of just walking into sort of half trap over there. You've got to know if you let that Death Knight close the gap on you, you really can be in a world of trouble unless you've got full control and a lot of health and armor just to back that up with.
Yeah, I mean, Claws did identify himself as the best player in the world at the start leading up to this match, so he's got a lot to live up to right now.
This is maybe a bad time to show that video. If he's going to lose the map now, well, you know what? He's not out of the tournament, so he can still prove it.
Absolutely.
I don't want to push that against him too much, but Cooler is definitely an opponent he sees himself getting the wins on. He's never lost to Cooler on LAN, and he doesn't want to start now.
No, absolutely not. This is a map that Cooler likes, though. He loves those passive plays. He loves those slow-paced maps, and he can really make that happen on this one. Claws still finding a rocket there. Cooler getting himself the mega health, and now there is a pretty good delay between the two major items, around 15 seconds between mega and heavy. Cooler looks like he's setting up a pretty good rotation here. This might be the heavy that he will take. Claws, there he goes, last minute, pushing in.
Could be a trap right now.
Yeah, Cooler has no clue that he's there.
Oh my god, the amount of damage. Is there a rail to follow up? Cooler, he's going to take him down. He's got plenty of time to get over to the mega health. The wind is in his sails now, and there it is, the rocket jump perfectly executed. We know that Cooler has, some trouble on stream with his rocket jump sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Definitely not right now.
Again, not making a big deal of it, little deal.
Small deal. Claws now on the Galena. That's an interesting second pick. I mean, he's kind of maybe slowing it down a little bit himself, not just going for that BJ dual wield right away, but just playing the Galena. Using that totem, maybe deny Cooler some mobility, heal himself up a little bit. Good rail to open. He might be able to get himself onto Mega right now. He looks like he will, taking 44 damage, but it was just before he picked it up. Cooler right now on the back foot. This might be Clawz's opportunity to get back into this round.
If he didn't land the initial rail, he wouldn't have gone to the Mega Health, and landing the one after means now he can even challenge for the heavy armor, so he can get position down here. He can maybe start setting up some totems. He's just checking. There's definitely no Cooler over here. I'm not going to walk into a trap of some sort, but he's keeping that totem like in his hands at the moment. He's ready to use it mid-fight. He doesn't particularly seem to want to set them up around and get those triple stacks going.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
This might be the end. Clawz is going to catch him up with the damage. Oh my god. And he knows where Clawz is. He sees the 5s ping up through the walls, and now Cooler back in control. I don't think Clawz can really drop down and contest for heavy right now.
That is just so Cooler, waiting around that corner. And actually, it's fortuitous enough that Clawz does go around. And he doesn't even commit to the fight after. That's good. 2 rockets from Clawz. How the LG could be getting the better of him. Nice rail closer from Clawz, tying up the champion score.
Risky play. He was very low himself, but he definitely made it work. So props to Clawz for that one. And now Cooler has lost out on his Death Knight. And I really think that Death Knight is like made for Cooler. The way that the champion plays, Cooler just loves playing it slowly, having something big in his pocket, and then when the moment is there, springing the trap on your opponent. And Death Knight really allows him to do that.
Clawz, you can see he's trying to respect that Dire Orb a little bit. He doesn't want to go too close to him. Thinks the rail, wow, he even manages to hit it. And that means definitely this Mega Health is going to go to him. And I think that Cooler's just going to want to slow the game down even more. He might even be thinking about sudden death already, because there's very little on the map that he can play for.
Yeah, absolutely. Clawz still has to be a little bit cautious though, because Cooler has that orb ready, and that could potentially be an insta-gip if Clawz makes the wrong move and gets caught out in the wrong place. Now, he's still looking for Cooler. Cooler just hiding down there. As you just said, Zoot, he might already be trying to think about playing the clock.
I think Clawz has realized he could be down here, but if I go around that corner, that's where I get Dire Orbed. So he puts a totem down, which Cooler's going to know about. But again, he's minimizing risks for the moment and hoping that Cooler's going to step a foot out of line and that he can punish it elsewhere on the map.
In the meantime, though, we've seen Cooler actually stack back up quite nicely. Clawz just using the totem effectively. I mean, Cooler doesn't have any of that. All he's got is the Dire Orb, and he's holding on to that one massively.
Yeah, he's just running away. He's going to escape down the lower area. Mega Health's going to go to Clawz. His stack has been about this big now for a minute or so. Fortunately for him, he doesn't need to force the frag straight away because they are tied up on the scores. But there it is. Again, very basic rotation going on from Clawz.
Yeah.
But Cooler, he's not getting in the way of him. And it's so important for Cooler, if he wants to win this round, to continue that. To continue this form of play. He's got the orb. He's going to need to escape somehow. He's got nothing that he can do. Oh, the rocket lands just in time. So we're going to get a 1-1 scoreline now.
Clawz, how does he do it? He just...
There was just a fraction of a second left before Cooler was about to teleport through to his orb, and then through the teleporter as well. But even so, he would have had the Dire Orb used by then. Clawz wouldn't have been afraid to push in. So those 2 rails, I mean, almost no matter what, that was going to be the round for him.
Yeah, definitely. Now we're starting the next round off on Clawz. Both players on their Death Knight. Clawz playing a very standard opening. It's one we've seen before as well. Still needs rockets. Looks like there's a very little delay between the 2 major items. Unlikely that either player is going to get both, especially since it is heavy that is up first. And Clawz is looking for that Cooler. He's now checking that corner. That's where he got killed earlier. And so making sure not to let that happen to him again.
And Mega's going to be there. Another small delay from Cooler. This time he's actually taken it without Clawz hearing it. There's about a 6-7 second offset. But this time the opposite way round to before. So I wonder if this is just going to catch out Clawz later on. He's probably expecting it to spawn in about 10 seconds time.
Yeah, Clawz dropping in aggressively. He's got all the weapons that he needs, landing that opening rail that might buy him the opportunity, but there, Cooler just stomping on his head.
Oh my god.
Now that's an amazing vertical rail, because those are so difficult to hit, and Clawz does it with such an amount of distance on it as well. Getting himself heavy. Can he get to Mega on time? No. Cooler will be the one to secure that, and Clawz is just fine with that. Doesn't want to overextend right now. He's got one frag up, but there's Cooler from behind.
Wow, Clawz had no idea what hit him just then. There was the Dire Orb that came out for the extra damage. Cooler is going to fade away. He can't get to the heavy just yet, and he really needs some items. Claws drops down. This is really horrific. But the rail that he picks up off the spawn, the healing from the totem, all so calculated, surely, Claws.
This man is mad. Absolutely, Claws, what are you doing? He's treating us right now, and he might find Cooler again to close out this round. He's got that railgun trained on those corners, looking for Cooler. Oh, why did he look away?
That was such a good rocket from Cooler.
Great. And Cooler's pushing it too. Claws, you need to land those rails.
Oh no, the totem has just come out, so Claws is going to win it. That is unbelievable.
Look at that cheeky smile on Claws right now. He is happy with that one.
That's unbelievable. This is the beautiful vertical frag. You can see Cooler was trying to hit flame strikes in the air, but that totem right at the end, just after Cooler made such a great aggressive push, that's devastating mentally for him, as he knows he made a strong play.
Yeah, this might be it for Claws though. This could be the round that puts him into the top 8.
Cooler's hurting a little bit. He's still got the flame strike himself. There's armor on Claws. He's found it, but he's not quite pushing close enough. He goes now. Does he want to go for the flame strike? But again, the rockets are unbelievable from him.
Yeah, rockets from Russia. Those are hurting so bad. Claws has the opportunity to restack a bit, though Cooler unable to really punish any further. Mega will be up first, then Heavy, but it looks like both players are just going for the heavy armor instead. Cooler will be the one to take that one home. Claws gotta go fast now. Mega will be his though. And he will get himself the last weapon that he still needs, which is the rocket.
Oof, 2 rail misses. Cooler delayed on that angle. He has got the flame strike, which he never used, and it really would have favored him a lot if he forced a fight to get the flame strike in when Clawz was down. But now it's back to a level playing field. It's only down to the items. And Cooler's not going to go for the heavy. He's leaving that one up for Clawz. Clawz hasn't chewed on that. He's still at the upper area. Expects Cooler to be down there. There it is. I think they're probably going to fade away. And this Clawz, he always looks for that extra bit of damage and secures the rail shot.
And Clawz is really delaying heavy. He went to the small armor first. What a tactical play. Not expecting Cooler not to go for heavy right away, because he could have lost out on it.
This is so bad for Cooler.
Yeah, Cooler such a bad spot right now. One more shot would do it, but he does get away for the time being. Nope. Oh, Clawz!
What the hell?
You passed him.
Oh, there's a mid-air from Cooler too, so he does get a bit of damage off the end. Does he want to go aggressive off the spawn? He's up here in upper T, looking for the ult, but he's going to miss it. That is going to be Clawz shutting him down one more time. And now only the Galena left for Cooler to make a reverse sweep in round 4. Otherwise, Clawz is going to be through to day 3.
This is so difficult for Cooler though, because Galena is one of those champions that you want to be on when you've got the lead, when you can play defensively and just slow the game down. But now Cooler just has to do the exact opposite. He has to chase, and that is something in which the totem really doesn't help. Meanwhile, Clawz is on that Death Knight. He has got those flames. He can really fend off Cooler basically any situation that he needs to. Heavy will be going to Clawz. There's still a good amount of time before Mega going up.
What would be really smart from Clawz though is if he tries to play Cooler his own game and tries to make the slow plays. However, he's hitting 2 rails in a row. He can smell the victory from here. That is going to be one more down. 3-1 to Clawz with day 3 secured as well.
I never thought I would hear the terms like slow pace and Clawz.
Yeah, I was thinking, because it would be quite a hilarious way to finish the map versus Cooler. But you know what? You just hit rails and you're like, oh, I can try and hit a. Oh, I'm hitting. Okay, I'll just crack on with this.
Had he done that, he would have gone under Cooler skill. Yeah. Absolutely, so much.
Well, guys, we do have Jahar back with us. Did you find that as... I find that kind of strange how the maps went. You look... Are you
you
okay?
Look puzzled.
Am I back? I feel like I'm still stuck in that match. Jeez. Crazy shots. It was like a frag video the whole way through. But it's just insane watching somebody like Cooler take such long maps against somebody like Rafa yesterday. Yeah. And then today, like, first thing out of the gate, Death Knight, Flame Strike, Flame Strike.
Yeah, he's just going for it. And it's a champion that he's been practicing a lot.
Obviously.
And he shows a bit of aggression. I think he realizes with Clawz that, you know what, there's only a limit to how slow I can play. This guy's going to force it. And I kind of like that he didn't go over passive, which he's been guilty of doing at times.
I thought he had it with that one round in Ruins. You know, he had like a minute to kind of play things off.
He killed Clawz and ran into his totem afterwards. That's something to haunt you. If that situation changes...
unnecessary,
yeah,
to say the least.
I mean, I feel bad for Cooler in that respect, but you know, Clawz played a wonderful game throughout, so
I have to
well
say,
deserved.
though, the way Molten Fall started, yeah, and you had ridiculous things like this, too. The way it started off, I thought it was just going to be a grind the whole way through, just like, all right, we're going to have 1-minute rounds every map, every round. But in Corrupted, you started to see a little bit of, I don't want to say the word respect, but some understanding coming out.
Understanding, I think, is a better way to put it. Respect.
Respect between these two.
Maybe not just yet. Or the respect between anyone and Clawz, I don't think he's got there just yet, but that's also what makes him such a star player.
LG in Corrupted Keep. So many of those frags were just absolutely disgusting.
His aim was looking brilliant, actually. I mean, there were some moments of genius.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he puts in the hours grinding this, so he really spends a lot of time trying to rebuild those mechanical skills all the time.
And I mean, he did better than Clawz on some maps with the LG. He hit harder than Clawz, who is arguably one of the best LG users in the entire world. So Cooler, props to him. He's definitely still has an opportunity to classify for tomorrow.
Yeah, completely. I think he's going to be playing versus Base next, and they go into qualifier. That's going to be an interesting Russia on Russia
decider between Base and Cooler. How crazy is that?
Yeah. I guess we can talk about that one later on, but that is going to be a totally different game to the one we just saw in the style of that, because Base he takes after Cooler with that defensive
Yeah, that
play.
could be so slow.
Well, we've also got Clawz up here in the studio, safely away from us, so we don't have to attempt to make a handshake happen. But how you doing, Clawz?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy with the result.
Those went all 3 maps. Did you really expect it to go as long as that did?
Not really. I thought I'm gonna do much more better on CK, but I was like too much on fire and was doing child mistakes, rushing him and paying not that much respect, and he punished me a lot for it.
Yeah, for some of the questions, Clawz, Cooler, as we all know, is a very passive player. He can really slow things down. How do you, as such an aggressive player, deal with it? Do you have like any sort of game plan going into matches like that?
In Quake Champions, you have just to adjust to playstyles you have in the game. So, for example, good practice is just to watch how plays the game, so you can analyze some spots or just playstyle. And on Ruins, for example, I lost first round. I didn't know what's going on, and I had to adjust to think to slow game down, to hold the top more, for example, to check more lower armor, because he spends lots of time there, and it helped me a lot to catch him there.
Okay. Was there a pleasing moment when you realized Cooler killed himself after that, after he got you?
Yes, that was insanely nice.
Cheekiest totem. So, of course, now Cooler's going to be down in the lower bracket decider going up against Base, so you saved yourself from having to play against Base yourself. Do you think Cooler and Base, which way do you think that's going to go?
At morning, Base wasn't doing really good, but we will see. We will see. But Cooler is a very strong player.
In terms of...
I think Cooler gonna get this.
In terms of looking at day 3, we heard your video already that you want to play against Rafa, and you're pretty keen to get some experience with him on LAN. Is there anyone else you're kind of looking at as possible foes, or anyone that you'd rather not play against?
I wanted to play against Wenger, but he's already out. And maybe I don't want to play against Kilson.
I don't blame you.
Why do you not want to play against Kilson?
He's a very strong player.
Okay.
Like Cooler, Cypher. These 3 players are very strong. I mean, they're strongest right now.
Well, I know a little bit earlier you weren't feeling all that great going into the match, but you made it through, and congratulations. So I think we're going to let you get a bit of a rest now. Well-deserved break, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow.
See you.
Yeah. Great, guys. But that's going to be Clawz moving in. That's going to be Group A, 1 game away from closing out. So Base has got Cooler to contend with now.
That's going to be an interesting one for sure. Looking at what happened earlier, Base was not in all that good of a shape. I mean, he did beat Dewey, but it was a struggle. And when he went up against Clawz, Clawz just won 3-0, 3-1. So he definitely had a hard time against Clawz. I want to see how he can do against Cooler. Definitely a different playstyle might suit him better.
Well, there's no better way to figure out how that's going to go, except just getting into the game. But we are going to be taking a very quick break, so go refresh your drinks, get some snacks, munch on some popcorn, because we're going to be crunching down on this match in just a few minutes.